Alrighty. The last thing I want to do for today before we exit and prepare. I mean, we got hours to prepare, folks. After this show, what do we got? We end at like 1:30. Game kicks off at 8:30. That's about 7 hours. We've got 7 hours of just relaxing and meditating and waiting for the season. Can't wait. But before we get into that 7 hours of meditation and relaxation, gearing up for week 1 kickoff, we are going to get all of our final thoughts and predictions and expectations on what we think is going to happen and develop over the course of the 2021 season. We'll check. I don't know if we're going to check on this list periodically throughout the season or if we're just going to kind of wait until the end of the season and then revisit this list and see what we got right and what we got wrong. Probably won't get anything wrong because we know what's going to happen this season. But let's get everything on the record here. So all of our final thoughts before the season begins. I don't even want the Thursday night game to cloud our judgment because if the Cowboys come out and blow out the Bucs, I mean, we might have to kind of retool our thinking on everything. But we're not even going to let that happen. We are going to get all of our final predictions and expectations on this season. So we've got a lot written down here, and if some come to us or we want to kind of search for more, we'll keep going until we're done because who knows? Who knows how much we can expect to happen this season. But let's see. Here we go. First thing up here. First prediction. This is a prediction. So we have predictions and expectations. So predictions, obviously what we predicted is going to happen, and then expectations, really on the kind of the rookie quarterbacks and the first-time head coaches out here. That's really where we're going to put expectations on and what we want to see happen to have a successful season, to classify it as a successful season. So that's the expectations are really coming from the first-time head coaches and rookies. But here we go. Prediction number 1. Derrick Henry breaks the single season rushing record at 2,105 yards. Now, there is 17 games this season, so, obviously a little bit easier for him to break the record because when Eric Dickerson did it, it was only 16 games. So I went back to his record, Eric Dickerson, and he was averaging 131 yards a game. So we added 131 yards to the 2,105 to give us a grand total of 2,236 yards. That's really the mark we want to see because if it extrapolated 17 games for Eric Dickerson, this is what he would have put up. So we want Derrick Henry to, yes, break the single season rushing record, but it's got to be a little bit more impressive because you have an extra game. So 2,236 yards is more impressive. But we do think this man's going to break the record. He's been rushing better every single season. Every single year, his yards have been increasing. And last season, it was like 2,030, something like that. Very, very close to breaking the record. And we think he breaks the record this season. So this season, Derrick Henry breaks the single season rushing record. Yes, with 17 games. But if he can do it, if he can put up like 2,237 yards, that would be impressive because that would basically be what Eric Dickerson did in 17 games. So. All right, our next prediction is that Darren Waller will be the number 1 tight end in the league by the time the season is over. And we are going to be, let me get this up. Okay. And we are going to be keeping track of tight ends. This is the big narrative we are watching for this season. How are the tight ends progressing? How are they playing? Are they all getting better? Are they all looking good? Because this could be a turning point for tight ends in the NFL. We're already kind of in a new era of the NFL in a 17-game system, a 17-game season. We've been kind of seeing for the last kind of 5 to 7 years the passing game get better and better and better. And now the tight ends all the tight ends, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Greg Olsen, created Tight End University this offseason to just kind of say, like, hey, we deserve a lot more money. We deserve a lot more praise. We deserve a lot more attention here. We're tight ends. We have to run and block and catch, and we can do it all. And they wanted their kind of names to be known out here by starting Tight End University, and we're going to give them that by kind of critiquing and just keeping an active, watchful eye on what the tight ends do this season. But I think at the end of it, Darren Waller, 6'6", tall as heck, fast as heck, is going to be regarded as the number one tight end over Travis Kelce or over George Kittle, who are kind of right now regarded as number one. So expect Darren Waller to have big things this season. Alrighty, another prediction, and this one's really easy to say. But Jamar Chase will not catch a single pass this season. He will drop every single pass thrown to him. He will have 0 catches by the end of the season, folks. Even wide receiver screens, even the easiest passes to catch, he will drop them all. Jamar Chase will not have a single catch this season, folks. Mark it. Bet that. I'm sure you can get great odds on that, but that will happen. Alrighty, next prediction up. Naji Harris. Jeez, can I freaking spell his name? Naji Harris will be top 3 running backs in the league at the end of the year. By the year is over. When we have all the information available to us, Naji Harris will be regarded as top 3 running backs at the end of the year. Now, I'm excluding Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey because those are dual threat kind of running backs out here. Well, Naji Harris could be a dual threat, so that's going to be interesting. So if Naji Harris turns out to be a true dual threat running back, 1,000+ yards rushing with like at least minimum like 500 yards receiving, he will be classified as a dual threat running back, and then he will be judged and graded on all the running backs compared to Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. If Naji Harris comes out and is just a pure runner, 13, 14, 1,500 rushing yards, only 1 to 2, maybe 300 yards receiving yards max, then he will be kind of judged around the other pure running backs, the Derrick Henrys, the Dalvin Cooks. But whatever Naji Harris does, and we can't expect him to be a dual threat running back because we do expect him to have, we did see him catch, great balls in Alabama and all that. But we'll see if it's kind of used, like a Christian McCaffrey, or if it's used a little bit more like a Saquon Barkley-esque kind of role. But he did catch for 700 yards that season. So, but either way, we'll see what Naji Harris is going to do. But I'm betting big on this man. I think he absolutely knocks this season out of the park. He's going to be regarded as top 3 running back in this league. Alrighty, we have our Super Bowl prediction. We got Colts versus Rams, folks. Colts versus Rams in the Super Bowl. And we are going to stick with our original prediction. Colts winning the Super Bowl. Now that Carson Wentz is good, that kind of foot injury was nothing to kind of get too concerned over. This Colts team is exactly the same team that we thought it was coming into this season. Unfortunate with the T.Y. Hilton out for the couple of games in the beginning, but they're getting kind of all their injuries out of the way at the start of the season. Hopefully that works out and they don't have any reoccurring midway and at the end of the season. But we still have this Colts team. We believe in Carson Wentz. This offense is ready to rock. This is a plug-and-play quarterback away from winning. We said this last season. They've got the same team besides Phillip Rivers, and we thought that Phillip Rivers kind of held the team back a little bit because he doesn't win the big games. They end up losing the first round of the playoffs, but only a 1-possession game to the Bills, who's a very good opponent in the AFC, and they had the ball at the end of the game to try and win that game in the last second. Unfortunately, Phillip Rivers doesn't come up clutch because he never does. Carson Wentz, we believe in a little bit more. He's eager to prove himself. He's eager to kind of be like, hey, y'all got rid of me in Philadelphia for no reason. Yes, I got injured a little bit, but every time I was out there not injured, I was getting it done. So joke's on you. I'm winning a Super Bowl finally, and I'm going to get credit for this one. So Colts, Rams defense is great, and we expect big things out of Matthew Stafford as well. That's why we have the Rams coming out of the NFC, but I'm going to have the Colts winning it overall in that game. So Colts win the Super Bowl. Colts-Ram is the Super Bowl matchup. That is still our prediction. Alrighty, I'm going to say that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take a slight step back. Lose early on in the playoffs, like first or second game. They don't get to the AFC Championship game. They don't get to the Super Bowl. And I know this isn't like a big, like astonishing prediction, but this prediction is on the same trajectory as Russell Wilson's career. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl his second year, got to a Super Bowl again his third year, lost it, and then that fourth year, I think in 2016? I think 2015. He was still a Pro Bowl quarterback in 2015, but they lost in the second round of the playoffs. And once again, Russell Wilson has not gotten to a championship game and a Super Bowl since then. Maybe got to the championship game in like 2017, 2018. But he hasn't gotten back to the Super Bowl. And I think that's kind of the same trajectory that Patrick Mahomes is going to kind of come out with his kind of career as well. Big, hot out the press. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes getting it done, Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl win, but then for the next kind of 5-6 years, never really getting back there. And I think that's what happens with this Chiefs team starts this year. So Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take a slight step back, lose first, second playoff game. Not a huge prediction, but I still think it happens. All right, what's up next here? Okay, next prediction up. Father Time still doesn't catch up with Tom Brady. I mean, it's every year, folks, and I even fell into it. When I wasn't on air live every single day, going back maybe 3-4 years, heading into maybe the 2018 season, 2019 season, I was like, oh, this is the year that Tom Brady's done. I mean, that's it. That's it every single year. Every single year, someone's like, oh, this is the year Tom Brady's done. This is the year Father Time catches up with him. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. It's every year somebody says it. And like I said, I fell for it. I said it in either 2018 or 2019. I didn't have the show back then, but I thought it to myself, this is the year. I think I even said it out loud a couple of times to people that wanted to listen, and if they didn't, I don't care. I think I still said it out loud. But yeah, it's not going to happen. I think Tom Brady is truly the outlier here. The only outlier that Father Time just really doesn't really catch up with. I mean, if you want to say Father Time catches up with Tom Brady when he's 45, 46, I guess you can say that. But I mean, does that even mean anything at that point? Because it's so wildly old in this league. It's like, okay, yeah, it's just that's not even Father Time. That's like grandfather time at that point. It's like, okay. So Father Time still doesn't catch Tom Brady. He's still looking good. Still potentially could win the Super Bowl this season. It wouldn't shock me. And honestly, after that hype video and after the last week here of watching and seeing what everybody in the Bucs is saying and doing, I was very, very this close to changing our Super Bowl prediction to Colts and the Bucs. But I'm gonna give Sean McVay the little bit of the benefit of the doubt here that he is some high IQ offensive genius that he just needs the right quarterback. So we'll see what happens here. And we'll see what Tom Brady does. But he still threw 3 interceptions in that NFC Championship game. And if you're going to throw 3 interceptions against that Rams team in the NFC Championship game this season, it may not have the same result as Aaron Rodgers last year. So Father Time still does not catch Tom Brady. Alrighty, next prediction up. Ryan Fitzpatrick is who we thought he is. 50-50, nothing great. They don't win the division. They don't make the playoffs. And, he kind of squanders a nice opportunity here because this Washington defense is real solid, but Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't the game manager needed to win the game. So Ryan Fitzpatrick is who we thought he is, 50-50 quarterback. Washington doesn't win the division or make the playoffs because Ryan Fitzpatrick wasn't the game manager needed for the defense to control the game. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, gunslinger out here, lets it loose a little bit too much, tries to prove a little bit too much this year, and they lose games because of it. They don't make the playoffs, even though the defense was great all season. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick not getting it done offensively, and they don't make the playoffs because of that. Alrighty, now let's switch over to a success. So, Lions Dan Campbell. We're going to outline what a successful year. We have been clowning Dan Campbell, and we don't have the biggest overall big respect for this Lions team in terms of being good, but we are going to set what our expectations are going to be so we can give credit for Dan Campbell of having a successful year. So Lions, Dan Campbell, to be successful this season. Let's see how many wins we need. Let's go to their schedule very quickly. We're not going to we kind of went over the Lions like winnable games the other day when we were breaking down their overall season win totals. But I want to see, I'm not going to kind of be like, oh, well, we counted them at like 5 wins. We could see 5, so they need to win 5 games to be successful. We'll play it a little fair out here. So winnable games out here. Not that many. Bengals. Bengals, Bears once. Vikings once. Beating the Falcons. And then maybe give them, an Eagles one. So, there's about like 5 to 6 winnable games here. But we have to see about 4 games. If he can win 4 games this season, I will count that as a successful year for Dan Campbell. It's not that high of a bar, and that's fine. Dan Campbell's first time being a head coach. He's got Jared Goff, who people say you can't win a Super Bowl with, and it's kind of been proven. Unfortunate. So, Dan Campbell, to be successful this season, 4 wins. That's it. 4 wins and not too many blowouts. I don't want to see any blowouts, and I'm going to classify blowouts as 14-plus points, which usually I call blowouts 10-plus points. 2 possessions, kind of a blowout in the league. I'm going to give Dan Campbell another benefit of the doubt here. 14-plus point games are blowouts, and we really don't want to see that many. Maybe I'll give him 2 to 3. 2 to 3 maybe, because he has to face the Packers. Got to face the Packers, got to face the Ravens, the Rams, the Steelers, the Browns. Maybe we should upgrade this a little bit more. The Seahawks and Packers again. So maybe we should bump it up a little bit more, but I'm going to mark it at 14 points. Not too many blowout losses, and we'll classify those at 14-plus points. So that's what we want to see from Dan Campbell. Those are our expectations. Not that high, but that's fine. Lions haven't been good. This is not a easy team to take over and win with. Obviously, we've seen for the last 20 years, everybody's trying. Dan Campbell, first-time head coach. So, Lions, Dan Campbell, to be successful this season, 4 wins, not too many blowout losses, which are 14-plus points. Is that all I had written on here? All right, another expectation, Sean McVay. He needs to be successful this year. He got his quarterback. He didn't like Jared Goff. He brought in Matthew Stafford. Now he's like, I've got every piece here to be successful offensively. Once again, he was quoted as being, like an offensive guru, like in 2018, 2019. So, this is the time to show it. Sean McVay, to be successful. What do we got to see? He has to have a top 5 offense. Top 5 offense. You've got Matthew Stafford. You're an offensive guru. Got to have a top 5 offense. And has to get to the NFC Championship game. I would like them to win it. Obviously, we think they can get to the Super Bowl, but it would be a successful season if they have a top 5 offense and get to the NFC Championship game. I think we can classify that as a successful season for the Rams and Sean McVay. All right. Daniel Jones. Let's get our expectations for him. We think he can be good this season. But I want to put a number on it because we're expecting the same year 3 leap that kind of Josh Allen did. Now, I'm not going to kind of expect the same numbers that Josh Allen put up. The 69% completion percentage, the 4,500 yards, the 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So let's figure out a number here from Daniel Jones. So he had 62% completion percentage last season and kind of his rookie year, 62%. So I want to see that upgraded to 65 at minimum. Minimum 65% completion percentage. All right. So we got the completion percentage. Now let's talk about yards. He's at 3,000 rookie year, 2,900 second year. So definitely have to be way better than that. And I'm going to go, I want to see more. I really want to see 4,000, honestly. I want to see 4,000 yards. I want to see 4,000 yards. I'm not going to, I'm not going to say 3,800. I'm going to go 4,000. 4,000 yards. 4,000 yards. That's what I want to see. 4,000 yards. I don't want to see 3,800. I'm so over not seeing 4,000 yards by these, quarterbacks, and especially with an extra game. That should be, obtainable for Danny J, especially with all these great wide receivers that he has. So I'm going to put it at 4,000 yards. Touchdowns, he had 24 year one, 11 year two, and I'm going to kind of go at 28. I want to see 28 touchdowns plus and 10 or less interceptions. How many did Josh Allen have last season? He had 10, so I want to see 10 or less. 10 or less. So that's what I want to see from Daniel Jones. The offense supports that. Josh Allen just did that last year, better than that. 69% completion percentage, 4,500 yards. So we're giving Daniel Jones a little bit of a less bar to hit, but we still want to see that freaking bar hit, absolutely. All right, let's continue on here. We got some more to talk about, some more to go over, and we have to make another slide out of this one. So let's continue on here. Next one up, Saquon Barkley. We believe he returns to top three. Top three running back by the time the year is over. By the end of the season. So we have Naji Harris in the top three. We have Saquon Barkley in the top three. And we have Derrick Henry breaking the single season rushing record, which would obviously pretty much put him in the top three. So our top three running backs, potentially the best ones at the end of this season, are Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Naji Harris. So big things from these running backs. We know they can get it, and hopefully they can go out and show it. All right, Justin Fields. He makes debut week 3 after Andy Dalton, Bengals, revenge game. We know Justin Fields is going to play this season. Hopefully he does. There's no reason to start Andy Dalton the entire season. But I think Matt Nagy kind of made a deal with Andy Dalton. Hey, you get week 2 because of the Bengals, so we have to start you week 1. We're not going to start Justin Fields week 1, start you week 2, then go back to Justin Fields week 3. That's insane to even do. So Andy Dalton will give you week 1 because we want to give you week 2, but after week 2, we're going with Justin Fields regardless. If we win both games, regardless of anything, we're going with Justin Fields. They're going to give Andy Dalton the revenge game against the Bengals, which I kind of respect. I get it. But then after that, they're going with the rookie Justin Fields. So he makes his debut week 3. Week 2 is Bears-Bengals in Chicago. All right. What else do we get here? Robert Sala. Let's get up what is going to make him successful. Robert Sala, successful season. Let's go to their schedule quickly and just kind of put a number on what is expected out of him from his first season in win totals. Obviously, we don't expect them to win the division because the Bills are clearly better and the Dolphins are clearly better. So I'm not going to put a division win for a successful year, but some solid wins here. So just, quick winnable games. Panthers, Patriots twice. Bengals, Texans, Eagles, Jags. Maybe split against the Dolphins. I don't see that happening, but maybe. Potentially 7 to 8 winnable games here, and I want to see 5 wins. 5 wins, I would call it a successful season for Robert Sala. 5 wins, and once again, not too many blowouts. But his are not going to be 14 plus points. His are going to be kind of classic 10 plus. Not too many blowouts. Maybe I do give him the I'll give him a little bit more since he is a first-time head coach. Same thing with I want to be fair between him and Dan Campbell. Both kind of, juice head-esque personalities, just what they show. I know they're not that person. That's not a dig. That's not a knock on those people or Robert Sala or anything like that. I'm just saying that's kind of their energy that they bring, juiced up energy. Kind of defensive-minded, tight end / minded head coaches or coaches in general. So basically the same. So 5 wins, not too many blowouts. I'll give them 13-plus points. And then we'll classify that as 13-plus points for Robert Sala. All right, so that's Robert Sala. 5 wins, not too many blowouts. All right, what else is next? Urban Meyer, successful season. Ugh. I don't expect this man to have a successful season, but we'll see. So let's go to their schedule, the Jaguars, and put a win total on them for a successful year. I got to give him the same benefit of 13-plus points in blowouts as well. But here we go. Jaguars, winnable games quickly. Texans, Bengals, Falcons, Texans, Jets, Patriots. So about 6. And once again, I kind of want to see, is only 4? Yeah, 4. It's kind of like 4 winnable games. I'm going to go back down to 4 wins. 4 wins, not too many blowouts. Actually, no. I have to upgrade this. I have to upgrade this for more than 4 wins because remember, Urban Meyer said, hey, we are not in a rebuild. We are still expecting to win out here. This is not a slow rebuild. We are expecting to win this season, be competitive this season. So what do we say, 6 or 7 winnable games? I'm going to upgrade this to 6 wins. 6 wins. 2 blowouts max because he said this. I'm only using his words, folks. He said they are going to be competitive this season. So 2 blowouts max, and I'll classify those blowouts at 13-plus points. So Urban Meyer's talking a lot of stuff. Better be ready to back it up because we've got your successful season marked at 6 wins minimum and no more than 2 blowouts. All right. Okay, another thing. Fans in the stands. Fans back in the stands will play a big role again. Lower completion percentage by the younger quarterbacks. So we'll look at what the younger quarterbacks were doing last season. The Lamar Jackson, the Kyler Murray, Josh Allen. Who else we got? Teddy Bridgewater had a really kind of inflated one. So we're going to be comparing 2020 completion to 2021 comp percentage. Just to get that, we think fans in the stands is going to play. The noise, not being able to hear on the road, all that is going to play a huge part in just the overall play of the quarterback. We saw inflated completion percentage numbers last season, and we'll see if those go down or if those stay the same. And that will make us see if we're right or wrong. But we think it's going to play a big role, so we would expect completion percentage to come down slightly. All right, Jalen Waddle will be the best wide receiver after year 1 of his draft class. So of Devontae Smith, of Jamar Chase, which isn't going to be too hard because he's not going to catch a pass all year, remember. So Jalen Waddle will be the best wide receiver after a year of his draft. We've been seeing great things about him in preseason and just his overall fit scheme-wise of what the Dolphins are going to run. It's just it's a home run match. So Jalen Waddle is going to get it done this year. Joe Burrow is going to look the least impressive after year 2 from his draft class. So that's Tua, that's Justin Herbert, that's even Jalen Hurts. We have all those quarterbacks playing a little bit better than Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow kind of falls off a little bit. He looked all right last season. I don't think this comes anything from the injury. I just think it's overall, I think Joe Burrow doesn't really have that much more to grow in this league. I think he's close to a ceiling where I can see Tua getting even better. Justin Herbert was great year 1. I see him getting even better. And Jalen Hurts, we just scratched the surface of what we saw from him last season. So I think Joe Burrow is going to be kind of looking the least impressive, and I'm not knocking these players here. I think that's just what's going to happen. Alrighty, and then we're going to set a mark for Teddy Bridgewater. We have to put a bar on his success. Since this was an open quarterback competition, since he got thrown away from the Panthers last season, and we're going to put a mark on what Teddy Bridgewater needs to have a successful season. So, Teddy Bridgewater, to count it as a successful year with the Broncos. Do I have his stats up? I think I got to bring up his stats. All right, Teddy Bridgewater. All right. So here we go. For Teddy Bridgewater to be having a successful year, I'm going to even, he had 69% completion percentage last year, which was, high as heck. It was great. I don't even think he needs to do that again. I'm going to count 67% comp. That's what we need to see. How many yards did he throw for last season? Yeah, 3,700. Yeah, that needs to be upgraded to 4,000. 4,000 plus yards. 4,000 yards. And then way up on the touchdowns. I got to see 25 passing touchdowns. 25 passing touchdowns. 10 or fewer interceptions. I mean, that's his knock on Teddy Bridgewater. Not airing out the ball, not scoring touchdowns, not scoring passing touchdowns. So 67% completion percentage for Teddy Bridgewater, 4,000 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and 10 or fewer interceptions. This Broncos offense definitely warrants this passing, 100%. That's not something out of the realm. That's so wild to think about. And then I think the last one we're going to talk about here is Sam Darnold. He's got to have a successful season. So Sam Darnold's successful season. Actually, got to do one more after this one with Matt Rule. So Sam Darnold, let's get his stats up so we can create a successful year for him. So here we go, Sam Darnold. His best completion percentage is 61.9. I have to see 65% plus. 65 plus percent completion percentage, absolutely. Teddy Bridgewater did 69 last season with basically the same weapons besides Christian McCaffrey. So this is actually going to be easier for Sam Darnold to achieve because you've got the dink and dunk option, the safety blanket, that is Christian McCaffrey. But I have to see 65% plus completion from Sam Darnold. Yards-wise, his most was 3,000. Teddy Bridgewater put up 3,700 without Christian McCaffrey. I've got to see 4,000. 4,000 yards. I've got to see it. And then touchdown and interception ratio, or just touchdown and interceptions. Sam Darnold, 17, 19, 9. I've got to see basically 25 plus. 25 plus passing touchdowns. Does he turn the ball over a lot? What do we got interception-wise? Yes, 15, 13, 11. Basically 10 or fewer. 10 or fewer picks. So basically similar to Teddy Bridgewater, but with Sam Darnold, he's never been the, accurate passer with the Jets, so his completion percentage bar is a little bit lower, but everything else is basically the same. And then the last one to do here, Matt Rule, to have a successful season. Because he traded away Teddy Bridgewater. Because he chose Sam Darnold. He's going to have to get it done this season. So let's see what their wins. I think they only won 4 games last season. So they won 5 games last season. We need to see that improve to probably about 9 wins. Let me go to their schedule because I'm either going to set the bar at 9 or 8 wins depending on how many winnable games that they have on their roster. So here we go. Panthers, let's just count winnable games. Jets, Saints, Texans, Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, Patriots, Falcons again, Saints again. So, I mean, we're at 9 winnable games right there. So, I'm going to put it at 9 games. They must win 9 games. This needs to be a 4-win improvement from last season if you believe in Sam Darnold this heavily, especially getting Christian McCaffrey back. I should set the bar at 10, but I'll give Matt Rule a little bit of a wiggle room here. 9 wins plus, and then not a lot of blowouts. Not a lot of blowouts, but his blowouts are 10 plus points. because they didn't even get blown out last season. I mean, I may even put a number on this blowouts. Let's get up this because I don't think I think they got blown out one game last season. So let's go to their games. Blowouts are 10 or more points. So lost 1, they lost by 4. Lost 2, they lost by big time. They lost by 14. That's a blowout. So that's one blowout. The next loss against the Bears, they lose by 8 or 7. They lose to Saints by 3. They lose to the Falcons by 8. They lose to the Chiefs by 2. They lose to the Bucks again by 23. Once again, 2 blowouts there. Vikings, they lose by 1. The Broncos, they lose by 5. The Packers, they lose by 8. And the Saints, they get absolutely blown out, but it was the last game of the season. So I'm only going to they had 3 blowouts last season. I'm only going to allow 2 blowouts here. So let's change that to not a lot of blowouts to 2 blowouts. 2 blowouts allowed, and those are 10 plus points. So 9 wins and only 2 blowouts at max. So those are all of our predictions and expectations. If we have to, think of another one come tomorrow, if one pops into our head as we're kind of watching tonight's game, whatever it is, we'll try not to do anything revolving around the Cowboys or the all right, let me write down this expectation. I don't think Dan Quinn has success. Let me write that down. Dan Quinn's defense is atrocious. And I'm going to say bottom 25. I'm going to say bottom 25 for Dan Quinn. Anything we have to say about the Bucks? Because we want to get everything around those teams. We already had Tom Brady with Father Time. So I think we're all good there. But if we have to do 1 or 2 more to come tomorrow when we think of one, we'll do that. But this is going to be kind of our final list right here of all of our predictions and expectations. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're out of here. It was super late today. We're back tomorrow breaking down the Thursday night game. Enjoy that game tonight. We certainly will. And